A pilot project which is the first of its kind in South Africa was recently launched in Butterworth. The project is an initiative between the Department of Education Eastern Cape, the CSIR, the Water Research Commission, the Irish Government and Yabantu. The project was established to evaluate the concept of social franchising, utilizing local franchisees to provide water and sanitation services to schools in the rural area of Butterworth.
For a number of years, Yabantu has been interacting with the Department of Education to try and come up with solutions to the problems of maintaining and servicing schools in rural areas. And 18 months ago, we were fortunate to get to the point where the Department of Education, along with research organizations, the Water Research Commission and the CSIR, as well as a funder, being Irish Aid, got together and agreed to embark on a pilot project for the Butterworth district.
Last year, the Department of Education has embarked upon a pilot project in the Butterworth district to maintain the sanitation facilities at schools in this district, as well as giving them water facilities.
We formed a company called Impilo Yabantu, which means hygiene for people. And Impilo Yabantu had a lot to learn over the period of the pilot. It needed to understand the work technically. It needed to understand what the requirements of the department were in terms of systems and procedures. And so we set out over the period of the pilot to date to develop quality management systems, to work alongside of the department officials in Butterworth to understand how their administrative systems work, and especially to build relationships with small businesses in the area.
Members of the MOU visited various schools in the Butterworth area to witness for themselves the level of service that was provided by the franchisees to some of the schools within the area. To ensure the franchisees provide a quality service, a project steering committee was established to oversee the work provided by the franchisees and to address any problems that may occur along the way.
The challenge to the department was always been to get a workable program together to maintain the sanitation facilities at schools, and in this instance it has worked very well for the department. Up to date, 200 schools have been serviced successfully in 15 of these circuits in the Butterworth district.
Apart from servicing the amenities, the franchisees take on the role of educators, highlighting matters of health and hygiene to staff, pupils and teachers at the various schools in the areas. In order to service existing household sanitation facilities, the service provider requires various specialized equipment to fulfill his task in the field.
The view of the team and the MOU partners as a whole is that the system does work. The system offers an alternative to in-house servicing, whilst at the same time having a relationship with a local service provider who can ensure that there's reasonable quality of water and clean facilities and serviced facilities on site for sanitation.
The investigation and formulation of methods for the cleaning and disposal of the contents of pits which are full is being piloted. Care needs to be taken in the safe handling and disposal of the pit contents.
The Butterworth pilot program has not been without its difficulties, and we have had to find means to overcome these. We are fortunate that the partners to the Butterworth pilot MOU are all motivated to achieve the objectives which we set out to achieve. And each of the partners has been willing to play its role. We are still having to work with constraints, administrative and procedural constraints, but we are confident that these will be overcome going forward.
Before an existing toilet can be moved, the slab around the toilet needs to be prepared correctly. In order for this procedure to be carried out correctly, the proper procedures and quality control has to be strictly adhered to.
The Butterworth district represents one of the most difficult areas in the Eastern Cape. It's a real challenge for us, but also any successes in the Butterworth district will certainly be able to be replicated elsewhere.
On completion of the servicing, the toilet is returned to its original position.
Looking to the future, we believe that the methodologies that we have developed on the Butterworth pilot will stand in good stead as the department seeks to roll out to further districts following the similar type of formula.
The material removed from the toilets is then removed from site and transported to the waste disposal area. The disposal site is secured by means of fencing, with adequate access control to allow franchisees access to the area. After disposing of the material in trenches, it is then covered up with soil. Once the service has been completed, the disposal site is rehabilitated to its original condition. This production was made possible by funding received through Irish Aid and by our MOU partners.